Say good evening to my general public, I know you listening. Tune in to leave you informed on how to get dividends. You politicking with Permiss. I say you politicking with Permiss. Authentic originators, others are counterfeit.
Good Fellas of Baltimore, it's all about helping people. It's about inspiring people to help each other as well. And so we're not the solution, we really aren't. We're a catalyst. I hope that we can become an inspiration. We help a different family every week, and we help a different charity every week in the Baltimore area, and we invite the community, individuals, corporate sponsors, celebrities, to come along with us and be a part of the solution.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just tuning in, you're now listening to Politic with Permiss right here on WOLB 1010 AM, 410-481-1010, 410-481-1010, 877-704-1010, 877-704-1010. Stream live, WOLBbaltimore.com, WOLBbaltimore.com. Want to send a big shout out to Sif Jones, working the boards, making everything do what it do. What's going on? Absolutely. Sing.
Well, I wanted to know more about the Good Fellas of Baltimore, the TV show, and as far as when you guys started, what has tell us about a little bit about some of the episodes, and what are some of the most impactful stories that you guys have come across?
Wow, let's start with the first episode.
Okay.
Living Classrooms is the charity.
Okay.
They do a wonderful job in town, headed up by James Bond. Okay. And there's a family that they brought to us, the Kiosi family, a family of 10, 8 children, 2 parents.
Wow.
Whose house caught on fire last summer when the house next to them, it was vacant, caught on fire, fell on their house, caught their house on fire. 4 o'clock in the morning, the parents have to rush all the kids out. Fortunately, no one was hurt. But they lost everything through the fire, smoke damage, and water damage. And the school, Living Classrooms, they actually came to the rescue. Parents, teachers, administrators all kicked in so they could get into a hotel room, get new clothes, get other things to get back on their feet somewhat. Mm-hmm. But then when their resources ran low, they called the Good Fellas. And fortunately, we were able to be in a position to say, yeah, we'll help. Well, that partnership has blossomed, and here we are almost completely done with a full renovation of their home. And here's the beauty of the Good Fellas of Baltimore. 300 people have contributed more than $200,000 worth of products, services, and cash to help that family and the Living Classrooms charity to do more in the community. The family is being made whole. The charity is able to go and do more in the community because of the support. It's not us. We're just the catalyst. We're just the guys that are beating the drum, saying, "Hey, we need some help. Let's all come together and let's help some other folks." So, Living Classrooms is the first one, and then the next episode is going to be with Chu Smith. Chu Smith, former Harlem Globetrotter, Baltimore guy, right. And he is doing some amazing things around this city.
Also, I was thinking one of the reasons why I said yes to AJ. I have my production company is Carbon Fiber Media, and we publish graphic novels and comic books, so we're kind of in the hero business. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I realized when I actually met the guys, Brian and AJ, both of them are cast members, and they have a portfolio. There's stuff that they have to do, and they can't come back and say, well, guess what, we didn't make it. You know what I mean? It's like, do it or get out. Right. So that kind of confers on them, to me, kind of hero status. And then we started to meet some other people in the community. We have another family member who you're hiding out in the corner, Osama. We're everywhere. Between the Robinsons and Ali's, we're everywhere. Y'all can get away from us.
Okay. Look out, Wayans brothers.
So what we're saying is that there are heroes in our community that don't always have on, capes and tights. Exactly. But they're doing things. They're doing it not because they think it's going to make them rich, not because they think it's going to make them famous. They just do it because it's in them to give and to show up no matter what. We all know those people. They're in our families, our grandmothers, grandfathers, our brothers and sisters, our children. So I think what we're really saying with the show is, we don't have to wait for somebody else to save Baltimore. Mm-hmm. We actually have the solutions here. It's actually just a little bit of hustle to go out and see what's happening. Don't keep driving by and pretending those people don't have anything to do with you, or that little kid who's, you don't have to go to Egypt to find a kid who's hungry. You can probably look around your own neighborhood, and you might want to ask, you can see, we know what that look is, right?
Exactly.
It's like, you know what? I bet you haven't had breakfast. And you can start to ask that question. We can look at little girls and say, something is, you know what? When a child's security has been disturbed, you know it. You see it. But you have to stop pretending like it doesn't matter, or it doesn't have anything to do with you.
Exactly.
Right? That's
Being aware.
I don't know her. And so when you start to do that, you can't actually cross back over that line. Once you get in that vein, you start seeing it everywhere. You start paying attention. And so we're saying that is heroism. That when these guys stop what they're doing and show up to do something, if they only have 3 hours, Brian and I were talking about this other day, because now he's busy. I'm busy and he's busy, right? So I say, Brian, we're doing this today. Can you? He said, okay, I have between 12 and 2. He wasn't joking. He has his day pretty much mapped out between 12 and I have between this time and this time. So we show him what we're going to do and how he's going to use that hour. He comes in, takes the coat off, does the blah, 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 jumps in his car and goes out. And there are heroes doing that everywhere, and we want to tell that story. We want to catch people doing something right. The other reality shows are really about the humiliation factor, fighting and, complaining, and she said this about my mom and I don't like her and blah, blah, blah. And that, we've grown up thinking that's entertainment. We're saying there's something else that we need our children to focus on.
So you're just changing the stereotypes of what Baltimore is really about, what has been seen on television.
Exactly. We're just saying that there's something else. That stuff is not really reality to us. That is staged. No matter what they tell you, it's fake. It's a setup. We're saying that reality is actually out here and that people are doing some amazing things. And we also think that's interesting. So we're going to show people those pictures about why that's interesting.
Question. We both know Baltimore has birthed two of the most powerful reality shows. One is The Corner, one is The Wire. With both of those shows, it gave you a look of Baltimore from a perspective drug-infested communities, everything. Some people may say it's negative. Some people may say that's the realest right there. You guys are bringing a show that is like the total opposite. Giving, let's build it up, So, what angle and what do you say? Do you guys agree with what people say? Like the Why in the Corner was negative. What is your opinions on that? Crystal, you could chime in too.
I think that comes up a lot. I love the whole idea of, when AJ came up with it, was the whole Good Fellas spinoff, just from what you're saying. Right. From people from the outside looking in, it's always been, murder capital of the country, exactly. And they see The Wire. But one of the best things about this, the show, is all of us typically are born and raised in this area. We know a lot of the good charities, and I've gotten to know a lot more through this process. And the idea was to show there's a lot of good things here. And people always come up to me, and it's been a constant question. What does it mean to be a good fella? And the response is always, for me, it's someone that has the ability, the resources, the money, or the contacts to help someone else that's in need. And there's a lot of people that want to do that, but in a tough economy and things that are going awry, they just don't know where to go. And on the same token with her, like she was talking about, there's plenty of people that need help, whether it be clothing or shelter or a mentor or whatever, and they don't know where to go to get it. Right. Those programs are here. Exactly. But, they don't spend their money on commercials and marketing. They put it back into what they're doing in their initiative. So one of the big ideas of the show is to showcase these, because they're still going to put the money towards what their ventures are, and we can showcase that so people that are in need and people that want to help on our end of things that have any kind of resource, whether it be financial or not, can have a place to go or to do those things.
Absolutely.
I think you also have to. There's nothing wrong with those shows. Those were very well produced, very well written. They were that is a reality. We've driven through those neighborhoods. There's some of them. We were getting ready to jump out one day and start shooting. AJ was like, no. I'm not
want to see shooting? Go ahead and shoot.
I was getting ready to get out of the car.
Not right here, bro. Not right here.
I live in Harlem. I'm not afraid. He's like, don't get out of the car.
That's awesome. This is Baltimore. Stay in the car.
But you do have to be careful. You have to be careful about. There's a great writer whose name I won't remember, but she does a talk on TED about the being wary of the single story.
Right.
That you only have one view of what you do, and we've grown up, I mean, I'm older than all of you all in this room, so we've grown up only knowing, if you're younger than me, one story about who we are. And so when our children consume that all the time, and that story is not positive, it's really basically saying, you're not anything and you're never going to be anything, and so just keep consuming that. This is your life. Absolutely. That is one possibility. And we've been talking about this all the time. There are people right now all around the world who would take our circumstance here in Baltimore, and that's a step up for them. You got a house? You have shoes? Oh, okay. We'll come and do that. So we have to be aware that there are many stories. That's why it's important about what you're doing and showing people how to get their stories told, Crystal. Exactly. Because once those are out there, we start to see that there are other possibilities other than just that is a version, and that is one aspect of reality.
And I just want to say it's very, very refreshing to see something different come into Baltimore, because I'm one of the few people that I didn't watch The Corner. I didn't watch The Wire. One of the few people that didn't. But just in me going out, Singleton knows that my publicist is she's actually based in D.C., and she books me for a lot of book signings in D.C., and it's just so amazing the stereotypes that people have in Baltimore. When I show up, they say, "You're from Baltimore?" They can't believe it. They say, "You don't have gold teeth?" No, I don't have gold teeth. You don't have pink or blue or purple hair? No, I don't have it.
I think they use the term Bama.
Oh, yes, and it's so offensive, and I'm so offended. But what's most offensive is that some people in the D.C. area will not, as soon as they see a Charm City family and they see that I'm from Baltimore, they won't even touch it. They won't come near me. And we have to change that stereotype. And I'm trying to break a bunch of different stereotypes. And one of them, in the book, I go around talking to these young ladies who believe just because they were touched before. I talk a lot about girls not being promiscuous a lot. And a lot of girls feel like, if they were living with mom and stepdad touched them, they're out there doing things with boys, and they say, "So what? I was already touched anyway." No, that is so not the case. So, there's a lot of different stereotypes that we have to change, a lot of different ways of thinking and mindsets that we have to do. And one of the things, I need to get into the jails and speak to these parents, the mothers of these children who put men first before their children. And we see a lot of, people don't want to tell things that are going on in the homes because, one, of shame, and two, women are so dependent on men for whatever reason. I don't know, they're lonely, maybe the socioeconomic situation that they're in, but, I'm teaching young ladies to protect themselves. We may not always have mom to depend on because she may have her other things going on, but we have to take away that mindset that we believe that we can be victims for some reason.
Absolutely.
All of our children need our attention, I think. The boys and the girls. We grow up separately, and suddenly we're all supposed to figure it out and get along. And it's really too late to wait until they're in high school to start to talk with them about, respect and sex. The kind of things that we grow up with when there's a mom and a dad, or at least men around that you were accountable to. It wasn't always dad, but if Uncle Leo saw you, you still had a beat down coming.
Right.
So it's realizing that it doesn't have to be just a traditional way of looking at it, that we're really accountable because all of them are our children, and we have some responsibility for almost all of them. So we have to see them, first of all, and affirm them. You know how rare it is for young boys and young girls in our communities to hear that you're smart, you're great, you're going to be great. My expectation of you is high, and you're going to. Do you know about these other jobs other than pants sagging and slanging? Do you know there's other possibilities for you, that if you can do that, you could probably do this? You'd be surprised. A lot of them do not hear that.
Now, these are guys who are running their own businesses. I hope that we can become an inspiration.
When I got the call from AJ, he said that we had some families that needed some help, and he was trying to get a group of 7 people together to try to expand upon what we can do individually and do it as a group.
Our passion is helping people. So we kind of went over, to exposing the charities, to helping the families, to making a difference in the city that we love, but we all know the perception of it from the outside looking in.
In the 60s, they said if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. We want people to be a part of the solution.
It forces you to not push it aside. I mean, it's easy to help people when you can, but I don't think I ever did it as much time and effort as I am now. Never.
If you're just tuning in once again, 410-481-1010, 410-481-1010, 877-704-1010. Miss Crystal L. Bass live on Politic with Permiss. And the Good Fellas of Baltimore live. Brand new reality show coming to Baltimore. When is the first show premiering?
The 19th of February at 1 o'clock on Fox 45.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Can I just cut in and say the 19th is going to be a good day?
Why is the 19th going to be a good day?
I had 2 book signings that day.
All right.
And after I finish those 2 book signings, I'm going to tune into your show.
Okay.
But the first book signing on the 19th is at Iverson Mall from 1 to 3.
Okay.
And the second one is 6 to 8 at Mondawmin Mall. Both are at Urban Knowledge.
Beautiful.
Okay, excellent.
So big day for us both on the
19th. Yeah. Now, the future of the Good Fellas of Baltimore, projection, I want to say 1 year from now, because 1 year prior, I'm pretty sure this was in the planning. So here is this 1 year later, we're releasing on the 19th. So what are we looking at in the future, for the Good Fellas of Baltimore?
Go ahead.
Baltimore, that's up to Baltimore. I really want to see people get involved. I would love to see a year from now 5,000 members in the mob. And not just because we want members, but because we need people to step in. Just like Crystal said, she wants to be a part of it. If Crystal joins,
I'm in.
All right. You heard that, right, everybody?
I've spoken it into the universe. I'm accountable now.
So now what we can do is we can bring her into the family and we can plug her into groups that she can help and situations that she can help to change. And if we have 5,000 people in the mob, we can begin to literally transform the city. Look, there are a lot of people doing a lot of great things. But one of the things that's needed is we need foot soldiers, and we need people to start to come together and work together.
Right.
And we can train people, and we can connect people to where there are needs. And I've run into so many folks who have said to me, and I'm sure the other guys have as well, look, I want to help. I just don't know where to go. Don't know where to go.
Talk about specifically what does one have to do to get in the mob? I mean, and what are the 3 things that you require that, would allow them to be in the mob and stay good in the mob?
Well, let me tell you. The mob, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, stands for Mentors of Baltimore. Mentors of Baltimore.
We're not doing no crazy stuff. The mob
there's no plastic and a shovel in the back of my car. I can guarantee you that.
We're not hiding anybody under Raven Stadium. It's not going down.
Not the case. We're flipping that a little bit. And I think it was actually an excellent question about the future of it is really up to Baltimore. I mean, at the end of the day, there are other cities that have been interested in doing the show, and we are also interested in taking the mentors of Baltimore and the good fellas themselves. And once we get our system down, teaching other people how to do that, because we have the same issues that we're wrestling with here in Baltimore that you're writing about and that we're showing. It's everywhere.
Exactly.
And so once we get it nailed down, we can share those best practices with other cities. But it's been, I have to, also say it's been a struggle getting people to step up with support. Right now, we're paying for the show ourselves, and when you try to get sponsors, as you know, that's not an easy thing. It's a down economy. But what we're saying to people is that you really can't afford to let everybody else in the world think that that's your only story. I actually had, and I tell this to the guys all the time, I had a guy in Chicago tell me it was too dangerous to come to Baltimore to do this show. And I was like, you're in Chicago, right? I've shot in Baltimore and been shot at in Baltimore. Okay, so I mean, but that's the perception. So we think a year from now, because that's an excellent sort of benchmark, that we've been shooting for about 60 days, and we'll be shooting all the way really through May. We want Baltimore to know some of the amazing people that are in your own town, and some of the things that you don't probably know about them unless you know them personally. And so we want that story to be more widely known. And so we're going to capture those stories, talk with some people, introduce people to people that they don't know. And then what we want to see is people connecting with each other, and we don't even have to be there. Mm-hmm. That's what the mob helps them to do. That's what joining and helping to sponsor and support the show helps them to do. We're going to put you in touch with other people, and that's going to be a gift that keeps on giving.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Awesome.
Crystal, once again, your book signings. Tell us about that. Yaman Diamond.
I'm excited to be at Mondawmin.
Okay.
I'm going to be at Mondawmin with my people, and they're going to, be able to relate to a lot of things in Charm City. Mondawmin is mentioned in the book as well.
Okay.
So you mentioned a lot of the city landmarks
Yes.
and streets and things like that.
I promise you that you will be able to see, taste, and feel when you read the book.
How long has the book been in the making?
Well, like I said, it was dust off. It was under the bed for about 10 years. So, it was a long process because I was not sure. Once I pulled it out, I wasn't sure if I wanted to publish it because as a writer, I've grown. Mm-hmm. But it's true to things that I saw, what was going on at that time. Mm-hmm. So I decided to go ahead and do it because I'm working on a sequel right now, and my readers will be able to see the growth in me. So I'm excited about it.
I know you wrote the book and depicting it from the 80s. So from the 80s to now, how, in your mind, has the city changed? Has it changed for the better, for the worse, or has it's just even kill?
Well, for the issues that I try to tackle, we need help. We need help, like the mob over here, these guys, because, I can't see that it's gotten any better. From when I started my journey, I see a lot of disrespect, and I see where the parents are getting younger and younger.
And the grandmothers.
And the grandmothers are getting younger and younger. Wow. So, I feel like I'm taking on a lot of responsibility I have one child of my own. I gave my contribution to the world. I have one. And he doesn't quite listen to me, but, the other people that I mentor, they seem to be listening. And, it's just that we have to get the word out. And I... hopefully things like this reality show is going to help, the process move along a little quicker.
Absolutely. Are there any movie plans for this book? Are we going to see it going to the movies or?
Well, initially, I'm big on Lifetime, and initially I thought to self, I said out loud, okay, this is a Lifetime movie, and my son told me I wasn't dreaming big enough, so scratch that, rewind.
Okay.
So we're going to do a play first. Right now I'm working on a 30-city tour, so if anyone is listening, has a bookstore in your area you'd like me to visit, get in touch with me. But we're doing a 30-city book tour first, and then we're working on the play, and then we're going to start filming.
Has a person that you mentored in the past kind of stuck with you, really came back to you and said, you really helped them to change their life and turn them around?
Yes. And, it's so sad that you should mention that because this young lady, she started calling me Ma. And I was really uncomfortable initially. And, I had to talk to her, and I see where there were no boundaries. She started losing herself, would call me, 7 days a week, all hours of the night. And, those ones stick with you. And I still keep her around. But, it just let me know that where are the parents? Because sometimes they don't see me as a mentor, but look to me as a mother. And I really had issues with that at first, but I have to put myself in their place and see where it is that they're coming from and that they really need somebody. And for some reason, I guess, I'm very compassionate. I guess they open up to me and can relate to me. And, those stories, they stick with me all the time.
I think it's also important to realize that sometimes you don't see things when you're right in the middle of the forest, but when you get some perspective on it, you can look at it differently. And that on the surface, things might seem that they're better. We have iPhones, and we have, we have text, and we have Facebook, and we have all these other things. But systemically and systematically, things are not necessarily better for all of us. Yes, we have a black president in the White House, but many of the other segments of our society are not actually doing so well. In many instances, they're doing worse. And that's not really being negative. It's a reality check about what's next. Our educational system is practically in collapse. And so, young people that I work with in California, when I go and talk with them, they usually have me talk with them, I think, too late in high school. It's that I couldn't hire you to do the technological jobs that we have for you if I wanted to. Exactly. Because you're still doing 6th grade math in the 11th grade. And so the jobs of the future can't go to you. So it's really too late to start to talk with, to read to our kids and all the rest of that and pretend like, well, my story is on, I don't have time for that. Those issues will remain with us and they're going to keep growing unless we realize that we have to stop some things and pay a little bit more attention earlier on, because otherwise it'll look good on the surface and we'll have a little bit more money and a little bit more flash, but it won't necessarily become systemically better unless we really look at what's really going on. And sometimes you have to step back a little bit and get some perspective. Our young girls and our young boys are really not having a good experience. No, they're really not. And they're smarter than they've ever been.
Yes, they are.
It's just that they're distracted with other things, and they have them paying attention to other things. So it's easy to talk about it, and it's easy to tell other people what you should do about it. But I think people should just start with where they are. AJ made a call. He found 7 guys that he knew he could count on, and they said, okay, I have some extra time. Let's see what happens. I don't think you all had any idea it was going to be this demanding. They may have looked at that call idea and went, no, I'm not taking that call.
I'm not taking that call.
But because they stepped up and continue to step up, things are changing, even though it may be changing in small ways. So
and they're part of the family, as I see.
Absolutely.
Well, you all are too now, actually.
Yes.
That's right.
Okay.
Yes, we are.
And Brian said something earlier that I just want to repeat.
Yes,
he said,
absolutely.
if you have the ability, the resources, the money, or the contacts. And I love what he said about not and. If you have one of those things, and see, I'm not a wealthy man, but I do have a heart for people, and I try to give as much as I can. If you have any ability whatsoever, if you have any resources, if you know anyone who can help, you need to be a part of this. If you feel that you can't make a difference, you're defeated already. I want to tell everyone out there who's listening, you can make a difference. You can make a difference with a conversation. You can make a difference with a hug. You can make a difference by referring someone. And if if you don't think you have anything to contribute, call us. Call us and we'll figure it out. We'll help you figure it out. We'll sit down with you. We'll teach you. We'll plug you in. We'll get you trained. Whatever it is that we can do to help you to help other people. That's why we're here.
Now, one last question. Is there an email for sponsorship? Do you guys have a PayPal set up? If anybody wants to donate anything?
Yeah, if someone goes to the website, goodfellasofbaltimore.com, they can click on Join the Mob. They can do that.
Okay.
And also, we do have a Facebook page, and that's www.facebook.com/goodfellasofbaltimore.com.
Cool. Absolutely. Crystal.
Yes.
We may have a few. I know you said it like twice. We may have a few short bus shorties. So let them know again about the book signing.
February 19th. Urban Knowledge.
Okay.
Iverson Mall 1 to 3. Mondawmin Mall 6 to 8.
Okay.
Anyone who wants to get in touch with me can get me through my website, www.crystalclearpublications.com. Or if they would like to book me for any book clubs, or, if anyone's listening, I will be at a city near you. But if you'd like to get me there quicker, you can go through Think Brown Inc. Natasha, her number is... We love Natasha. Her number is 240-304-6354.
Beautiful.
And all of this information, by the way, will be on Politic With Permiss online.com.
Yes.
So if you want to join the mob, if you want to purchase a copy of Dark Clouds, we'll hook you up.
And,
are you on Amazon?
Just say I am on Amazon.
Okay.
Please do go on Amazon and read those wonderful reviews on there that make me smile.
We want to thank you all for what you're doing as well. I know that radio has been, having a tough time, too, over the last couple of years. It's so important to keep that voice in the community. It's critical.
No problem, man.
Thank you.
And as we say, thank you guys for coming on. Okay, our family. Okay, we are in full support, 1,000%. And one of the things I like is you're bringing it back to Baltimore.
That's right.
Baltimore needs a breath of fresh air, and I believe This is so Crystal with your books. I know you're going to make wonders happen. So I'm proud of you.
I can't wait to read it.
Also, real quick in these last 2 minutes, don't forget Bourbon Street. It is going down March 29th. The official I Vote kickoff. Big shout out to our own Larry Young, Conan 92Q, Sif Jones, Ian Swag Nation, who will be having his event going down at 9 o'clock at Club Paradise, right across the street from the radio station. So
that's 1660 Whitehead Court.
Whitehead Court.
Yes.
Whitehead Road Court.
Yeah.
Not a problem. Not a problem.
Oh, and also we're going to give a big shout out to Rod Staten, King of the Beats.
Yes.
Tonight at the Black Hole. That's 216 German Hill Road. If you are a producer and you want to showcase your music, tonight's the night to do that. Call at Rod Staten on Twitter.
Absolutely. Please, for this footage right here of the show, you want to see it live, courtesy Amplify Video Mastermind Photography, log on to politicwithpermissonline.com, politicwithpermissonline.com. All right. Of course, we'll be back next week. Who we got on the show next week? Super Gorgeous coming on next week. Shout out to Sherelle LaBella, Honeycomb Set.
Ashley Silva.
It is going down real major, man. I am Permiss, and I'm out of here. This is WOLB 1010 a.m., the home of the Larry Young Morning Show. God bless. See you next week. Peace.